Okay, I'll be reading from my new book, which is this. It can be purchased on the opiate, sorry, the opiate books, theopiatebooks.com under my name. Or if you're in Paris, I have copies for sale. You can get them signed if you get them directly from me. Okay. Um, Archibald MacLeish wrote Silent as the Sleeve-Worn Stone. This is called Shrapnel in Poetry. It's l'envoi. Rough edges not smooth, rock not a pearl. If a load from David's sling might be just right, I'll own no Easter baskets delivered sincerely with upright pretensions and regular thought. Crochet is a thing that brings satisfaction to public rose hypnosis, oh so richly bedight. Rough edges not smooth, tensed rock not sheened pearl. If put on a chain, it might still be bright. Why follow armadas of models of prim? The feel of right and wrong is ever sleeping night. The rage of fear and love and anger flows from life itself. The flower strife has wrought. Rough edges not smooth, rock not a pearl. If it's put in a handgun, it just might hit right. I send no Easter baskets delivered sincerely with upright pretensions and tasteful dyed thought. Okay. I think that's on theme. Okay. Farug Farrokhzad, the great Iranian poet, wrote, "Let us believe in the beginning of the cold season. Let us believe in the ruins of the gardens of imagination. Look what a heavy snow is falling." This is called defenestration. When running was everything, or could be at all in those days, in the time of clear seeing, small insects so perfectly made, and each thing new and hard to understand and bright as light. Even the cast iron sash weights my father called sashes, that few now alive could have seen through worshipful child's eyes. I saw the halos, heard the counterpoint, the good and the evil, heard the bells of colors on my tongue, and drank the air, believed that there was place and time for all the victories of all the little groups of wishers dancing service to the king. The king's a gang, gongs growl a glay, and gadgets grind the gristle down. When did you first know? How did it come to you? Who told? The time is past for the drizzle of learning, the rain of school, and the lessons done, long drunk now to the dregs and on past. All the tailors have sewn the drowning sacks and wedding rings, the barbers combed their hair, and doctors mispronounced the dose. It is now time for fortune's pine woods wail, the panting coughs. And now let's say us all, it's going to be all right. Belief redeems the mind of God. Our safety's sure. The just reward is in our grasp. We ever grasp the good. The speech of angels growls and shrieks, insipid comfort pules. The carnival has come to town, the elephants are broken down, the voyeurs stroll, the fearsome fear and Eros primps and spruces up the catwalk, claiming dignity while selling handy homemade tools to indigents of untold wealth, while acrobats fall down and bleed, and all our dreams are tantamount to what we used to hate and fear. The dreams of a sunny bright field is there on my wall, and the house, and the names of the horses engraved on my childhood like friends. I know them, but keep the lullaby in a box out back. But told not to hate and told not to fear, the sages and clowns know all is well, that time is round and cleverness will pull us through, that we needn't cry or yell, and history will judge the crimes and right the wrongs, but I'll at least be gone. And still return as always comes into my dreams and reveries. And what if I never die? What if existence is eternal, like recurrent dreams? When childhood was childhood then important? Will it come again once more? Or is it to be eternal and eternally lost, always fading into time? I haven't seen snow in years. Mark Lawrence wrote in Prince of Thorns, cowards make the best torturers. Cowards understand fear and they can use it. Murders of their children. So glad that we cannot know how it feels for our children are safe. The barbarians are not at our gates waving religion or history, waving the rights of the conquistador, the rights of the bombs. If we kill the children, the future will not return vengeance. We may defend ourselves, you may not, you are lower. How many of us would accept that? How many would do that? Crusader states do not last long. They commit suicide. Suicide through the guilt of the child killer, abandoning privilege. Exceptionalism dies with the whimpers of a murdered baby. The screams of your victims, of those you beat down, pronounce the verdict of history. Looming on the horizon, for murder will out. Then you will seek outrage. You will seek compassion, aid. You will claim your innocence. You will cry for your murdered children. No, this will never happen. You are too strong. 1,000 Jahre strong. We all know that empires never fail, never fall to enemies until they commit suicide. A quote from Peter Lamborn Wilson, or Hakim Bey as he was also known. Don't just survive while waiting for someone's revolution to clear your head. Don't sign up for the armies of anorexia or bulimia. Accept the fact that you're a criminal and be prepared to act like one. This is called conspiracy. Hear now the talk to inspire ambition from the cops of the mind and the soul. Work is their answer, for you're just a slave, and because of their profit you may not just be. Mankind's great error was the building of cities which led to the grind as the goal. But hear now the talk to inspire ambition from the cops of the mind and the soul. The police were invented to catch escaped slaves and to put them back into their hole. Were we all in it together and equally shared, most would help others forget bending the knee. But now hear ye the talk to inspire ambition from the cops of the minds and the soul. Yea, work is their answer, for you're just a slave, and because of their profit, you may not just be. Certain connections. I listen to minor key music, ironic and plodding, sometimes coming down heavy on one gimpy leg, with a rhythm like a motor or a card in the spokes, at home with Greek peasants or effete snotty snobs, a joke for Italians or for Corsican clowns, all prepositions and conjunctions or one verb repeated, and you can't dance to it because it goes too fast. Mustard having a fizzy reaction with hot sauce or horseradish, and humming like a green glow apple lacquered car, but it's ginger candy and the prickly pear she's singing is the fuzziness I crave. From Baudelaire. La musique souvent me prend comme une mère. Serenade. Tell me your stories from when you were young. Tell me your old folks, your mom and your dad. Tell me those jokes and how you made friends. Sing me the song that you sing. Tell me your loves and your hates and your fears. Tell me the times you were lost and were found. Tell me the time that you thought you would die. Sing me your life in a song. Ride with me over the bridges and roads. Stroll with me down through Boulevard Sun. Fly with me straight through the clouds that we dream. Dance me now into the forest of song. Tell me the reasons for all you believe. Tell me the fate that you hope to deceive. Tell me the plot that you wish you could weave. Tell me how hidden you are. Claim with me freedom from pinch and from ward. Give me the grace of kaleidoscope smiles. Whisper transcendence, devotion is for. Laugh against dust from the dark. Okay. From Bobby Keys. When I talk about rock and roll, to me, that goes back to the beginning of the 1950s. Blue suede shoes and sideburns, man. Pink and black colored clothes. Turn your collar up, comb your hair in ducktails. And the music is, and the music was cool. It was a whole culture, then a different world. Clef and signature. The uniform, the marching songs, the dances then were something clear, mechanical, with subtleties suppressed. The face to wear, the face to wear, the words to use, the attitudes to never take were clues to something old that Tantalus would understand with his stiffness and his stretch. The idolized just war before two counterfeits was meat. The gods are cruel when granting wishes, and the tricky choice comes often first so as to tempt. The laughter quickly dies unless it's something false. The music of the spheres is more John Cage than Shankar, or the doo-wop that was theme for all my rigid fossilized youth, when times were simpler only if you could hide, but clearer, more mechanical, as if a military frontal fight against the ocean of eternity, so misted yet so hard. Yeah, I have just a couple more. This is called Are They Packing Guns or Gems? The most beautiful voice I've ever heard, I heard in a drunk's bar for buskers and brawlers from Blighty. A young girl so shy that she had to be coaxed by some boys who were stars in the bar. What was the song? Oh, what was the song? And she just started singing in a voice bright with thistledown, silted with ginger and cinnamon, spicy and textured like a fine honeycomb. Everything stopped. Promised fights were averted, seductions now sealed, and nobody ordered a drink. But heaven's not allowed in here, a growl and a holler, a drunken old goblin, a hater of youth and of music that intrude on his darkening hate. No words, just a roar, and the angel stopped singing, deferring to what she believed to be France. And no one could coax her back into her song. And then, to block probable murder, the lynching of a Philistine troll, the owner came out from behind the long bar and pulled up the drunkard, grabbed collar and belt, and tossed him out onto the dirty old street with a shout and a warning to never come back. Then some of the drunken bar do-gooders wondered aloud if such had been fair to the French and the old. Us outsiders got to stick together, as if. I heard a song. They wrote a song about us, sung by a girl with an impudent voice, but how did that girl do justice to you and your womanly character flaws? She must be a fiction like me, or the song, or the thought that we'd not had a choice. So I wrote out the song and I lived it for you in a fog, in a dream, in a lie. That was all I could find on the emptying stage of internal, eternal applause. For the song about us, I once heard it sung like a wish in your beautiful voice. By the grinding of fate, we gave up our illusions of learning to stand up and fly from the prayers of the past and the grip of remembrance's claws, which must be a fiction like me or a song or the thought that we'd not had a choice. To step out of time with the ease of a shadow, we were looking straight up at the sky and wished for illusions to hold us defending or holding our dearly loved cause, the writing of songs we might sing with a carefree and impudent voice, the notes of a melody shining with dissonant parallel fourths like a cry, resolved to false climax and finally kept to the orthodox classical laws because of a fiction like me or the song or the lie that we'd not had a choice. I once had a haven in corners of wishing, where never would anyone die. unknown to believers in all of the sad songs the silvery money dream draws, where they wrote a bright song about us to be sung by a girl with an impudent voice that must be a fiction like me, or the song, or the thought that you'd not had a choice. And to finish, back to Paris, this is called On the Pont Marie. It's a seasonal poem. There's something in a winter's chill that's sharp and pure as a razor's edge when you float above a bright river's sluice, like a tree full of pine needle frosted jewels, like gridded and straightened starry night whorls. It runs away like a brush, like the brush, and it prickles your sight and it glows with a blush, and the river is shining and glowing with worlds. That hazy, slow afternoon is far so dim, I hear its pastel ghost. Its comfort's inexplicable now. It's lost on the other side of the year. What once was enjoyed at such great cost, that zero now is the law. Thank you for listening.
Wonderful, sir. Absolutely wonderful. Who would like to make a comment?
Well, I could sit listening to you complaining all night, Bill, because that's what you call complaining. So yeah, wonderful images and pictures that you conjure up, all in the details there. Yes, you kind of keep us kind of focused in there. Thank you.
I love the rhythm of your delivery too, Bill. Not only were your metaphors lovely, but the pacing that you delivered them was very, very engaging.
Well, thank you. I'm not as young as I used to be. The mistakes were because I have difficulty reading. There's not enough light.
But you're older than you were, Bill.
But you're in the city of light.
Yes, I'm a Parisian. That's why I chose complaints.
Oh, I wish I knew I was there last week. I wish I knew I could have looked you up.
And give you some of the old time rock and roll, huh?
Oh yeah, oh yeah.
You've aged well like good wine, Bill, okay? And you just like Rick said, you the way you read is always very beautiful. You do a wonderful job, and your pieces, as I put on here, they 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 describe not just a scene and the whole of the different poems together. They describe a society, and the whole world is there. It's really, really wonderful.
Thank you so much, Laura.
The
Wonderfully
power,
done, sir.
yeah, the power, just, uh, it's just almost like restrained power. And then, I'm listening and it's just, it keeps doing this oomph thing. So wonderful stuff. Just whoa, blew my mind. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.